Hello, welcome. We are going to be resuming game development. I have spent this week debugging basically two bugs that have been really hard to find and really hard to ferret out, but finally managed to get it done. Two takeaways that I took from this that were, I never want to have this problem again. One is that the multiplayer synchronizers, I knew that at some point I figured out that the replication, this property is a resource, and resources are singletons in Godot. So if I instantiate another position component, it will share this property, and if I mess around with the properties in code, it will completely hork up this, and just architecting things so that doesn't happen is a headache, and I should just never mess with properties in code, or I should go all in on messing with properties in code, multiplayer synchronizer properties in code, and I should just make a handler and have the handler handle it. Lesson learned. The other thing that really was killing me, I have it up right here, the reparent function. When you reparent something, it preserves its position. Godot will try and preserve its position on the viewport. So, to demonstrate, if I have this bread here, that's weird lag. I'm not sure why that was laggy, but don't worry about it. If I put this bread here on the floor, it's supposed to drop it on my position, and it will do that. But when I pick it up, the code is putting it here, and if it, oops, okay. The bread is here in this position, but it's also its local position is 0, 0. It is attached to the item. So if I right click here, I'm right-clicking on the item. But it's also relative to the sub-viewport, like 300 by 300. No, it's like 400 by 300. And if I don't handle that, this will end up, when I reparent it, it'll go into space, basically. The sprite will end up somewhere that does not make sense. And that's just a nightmare to figure out. Glad I did. There is a parameter that you can pass into reparent. You can pass in, I think actually, yeah, false, to tell it not to do that. If you run into that problem, you can just tell it not to have that behavior. I don't do that because we're setting the position anyway so that it fits in the UI. Because if I don't have this, then the images here will all be offset. And they'll all be in the corner up here instead of laid out nice and neatly. Anyway, all of that is fixed. We can resume game dev relatively bug-free. There's still going to be a lot of bugs. I'm going to have to spend some more weekends on bug fixing in the near future, but that's game dev. In the process of trying to solve these problems, doors started working because I was refactoring the state component and it started to work. I right click on the door, it's closed. I can't walk through the door anymore. I right click on it, it's open. Great. I got that for free. So I went ahead and marked that as done. Today, we're going to be adding levers and pressure plates. And then I'd like to also add hands. And that's not going to be a complicated add. Basically, we're going to pick two of our inventory slots. We're going to make them hands, and what that means is nothing at the moment, but we will be making equipment only count if it's in a hand. So if you have a sword, it only counts if it's in a hand. If it's anywhere else, does not count for your attack. Shield, same story. We're going to give hands a tag, and that tag is going to come from our class. And right now we've got rangers and mage blades. Rangers have 2 martial hands. Mage blades are going to have 1 martial hand and 1 magical hand. And we'll add meaning to that later. But that just sets us up. That's all we really need to do for now. I am feeling very behind on my development. I was planning on being done with stage 2 by the end of the month. And I've spent like 5-6 days debugging and not adding features. And that's a lot of this list. And next week is Steam Next Fest, so I don't plan on getting any dev done. So there's a good chance that we spill over into July, which is bad. I would prefer to instead just dig deep and find the will to cram out like 6 or 8 of these in a day. And we'll see, maybe this weekend. Let's go though. We're gonna add levers and pressure plates. These, I want them to, we're going to add levers. We can add pressure plates too, actually. These don't have to do anything at the moment. We don't have to hook them up to doors. I'll hook them up to, I'll add, pull this lever to open this door in the future. For now, we just are adding levers and pressure plates. They need to register that something is stepping on them or something has pulled them and do an action, but we don't need them to do anything yet. So a lever is going to be a mechanism, and we already have mechanisms, so we can just go into our handler, data. We can go into our data, create a new mechanism. Bum, 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 bum. Hold on, I need to set something up first. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and create a new resource file. This is going to be a lever. That is not how that works. We're going to call this lever. There we go. That's how that works. And then we create a new script. And then we attach the script to the lever. Resource. We attach the script to the resource. And then we make the functions happen. Which of these do I want to copy? Let's copy let's copy this one. We don't want to give this a class name. I have decided that that is unnecessary. Resource files do not need class names. We're just gonna clean that out. To do, we don't have an inventory component. We do have a state component though. So I should go get the door, copy that. We don't need to mess with the collision layer. Oops, I should pass. There we go. I need to declare constant. Okay. Mech.stateSignal. Where that is a function. Yeah, here it is. I need to copy this. All we need to do is add that there. I have a animated sprite 2D for the lever. So the idea is that when it's off, I just hit play and then the lever will toggle, and then in order for it to toggle back, there's a reverse play function, I'm pretty sure, in animated sprite 2Ds. And if there isn't, then oops, hold on. Let me just verify that before I go down this. Play backwards. Yes, there's exactly the function. So we'll just play backwards. That's just the sprite. And we can have the use function say, is the animation playing? Because if it is, don't. Or yeah. That means the animation has to play on the server. That's annoying. It might be better to just have a cooldown on the use function to where is there a way to do that in a resource to set a flag that says this lever has been recently toggled, do not toggle it again for 1 second? Or the animated sprite could just be that. It's probably a really easy solution, but let me just get this animated sprite in first. First of all, we'll comment all of this out. We'll just make this a pass. So we need the, I've got art for this. I don't have art for the pressure plate, but that's fine. All right. Hold on. Where am I using an animated sprite? I would prefer to copy and paste that. And I've done that enough times that I really should just write a helper function. Sprite helper. We even have a setup helper function. No. Don't lose track. Those items. The torch has a animated sprite. Yeah. Okay, so we create a sprite frame. Oh, this is big, but we don't need nearly this much. We are a simple little animation. Put this down, and then we'll trim everything. Sprite path is... is that a constant in the torch? Did I do that? Oh, I did. I probably should. Oh, I only did that for the torch. Weird. Whatever. That's fine. We'll make a constant up here. Const sprite path. Rip this out. Put it up here. Boom. Okay. This is just default. Nope. Okay, and then there's actually no J. So where's the sprite coming from? Let me just check the torch. There is, we can't do this. Or can we? No, because that means, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. Oh, I do need a class name. That's how the enums work. Whoops. All right, let's go ahead and... How did the torches, if I have this torch here, let me grab that, and then I have this torch here. Oh no. Oh no, this is the chest. Okay. How do they have different animations? Yeah, they're not synchronized, but how? Because this variable this variable. The variable in the torch is this is there's only one. This is a singleton. This is a script resource. Waves. Hello. Welcome to chat, Amira John. How's it going? I'm just looking at this code. I was doing this a lot over the past week, where I'd look at code and be like, how did this ever work? It works. Like, it works, but I don't understand how. And the reason it works is because somewhere else I did something to make it work. And I don't see it here, but I gotta trust myself. We can just, I guess we call this get sprite. It gets a sprite, and then we just happily handle it. We can just trust. We can just trust that we've handled it. We'll try putting down 2 levers, and if they aren't synchronized, it just works. Don't worry about it. And if they are synchronized, we'll figure it out. How about yourself? Looks like you're making a top-down dungeon crawler. That is correct. Yes. We are in the process of adding levers. I'm just going to go for it. Let's add a lever right now. Okay, we need a var sprite. Why did I do it like that? Don't worry about it. I have to trust that I did it this way for a reason. But this should give us this should give us a sprite, just straight up. And the state signal, all we need to do is play the animation. So we can call mech.getSprite. Oh, I don't know, none of this. No, hold on. mech.getSprite.play. Actually, sorry, I'm wrong. I do need the state component because I need to get the on property. If on, become off. That's being handled in the use function. So I should not change the state component property in here. That will cause an infinite loop if I do that. Let's just animate. Mech.animate. Mech.getSprite.play. Else mech.getSprite.play backward. To do a hook in actions on lever pull. All right. And then we just need to make it so that when you right click on this, we toggle the state component. We'll get the state component. If sc.int get int property on, we can make this we can make this a ternary. sc.set int property on 0 if it's on, else. No, I shouldn't do this because this makes the code unreadable. Hold on. If the property is on, turn it off. Else, turn it on. Done. That's it. We've got the lever. Now we need to put this in our map. I did not add it to the sprite sheet. That's okay. Let me check the sprite helper. This is the dirt door. I have not added it. Oh, wait. 1-1. Okay. Vector 1-1. Lever. Return. We need to return that resource. Done. Now we add it to the map. Okay. There should be a lever in that corner now. Instant crash. Play backwards, not a real function. Play backwards. Thanks, Godot. Okay. All right, well, there's a lever, but it's blinking. That just makes it blink harder. Okay. Clearly, something has gone wrong with this. What did I do wrong? Oh. Why is this? What? Why am I doing this? Hold on. Let me go back to the torch. Why are we doing atlas.atlas load? Because we're just resetting it right here. So that's completely pointless. Yeah, the torch still works fine. I don't need that line. Random. Let's go back to the mech, to the lever. Okay, so we're creating a new atlas, and then we're setting the sheet equals to our sprite. Could this be that I'm going down the sprite sheet, but I should be going to the right? That's probably that's probably the mistake. Actually, this should be a 0. I times frame width. Okay. That shouldn't be playing. That shouldn't be looping. Set loop. How do I do animated sprites autoplay? Autoplay should be off. I want this to not loop. I don't even want it to play. I would like autoplay to be off. Hi, turn on code warning or error in project settings debug GDScript and looks specifically for unsafe property access and unsafe method access. It'll save a lot of headaches. Okay. Project settings. Debug. GDScript. Unsafe. Property access. Unsafe method access. Neat. Thanks for the tip. We'll see how that saves my bacon in the near future. Also, gotta take a look at the other options there, but not right now. There's a whole lot of things apparently that I'm ignoring. I like that you can configure that. Unsafe cast. Unsafe call argument. I can see why that would be annoying. No, how do I don't autoplay? That's definitely... No, I'm sorry. How do I not loop? That's definitely a thing. Is it here in this one? In the sprite frame? Really like Godot's integrated docs. It's done extremely well. Absolutely agreed. Set animation loop. There it is. Set animation loop. That's a long... frames dot set animation loop default false. We are not that kind of sprite. I appreciate that it didn't loop, but I forgot that we also don't want it to play either. Set animation speed. We might want to mess with that. We probably do want to mess with that. Let's just frames dot set animation speed default. How many frames per second? I don't know. That's a float. Play 6 frames per second. That feels like the same speed. What if I 12 frames per second? Also, hey, it works. I just right-clicked on it. I like that. That's better. What if we go even faster? That's pretty good. Let's do 30 because that's an even number. I don't know if the 24 is an even number. Yeah. All right. Great. Let's just fix one more thing and then move on because we gotta get pressure plates in, and that one's gonna be harder because we have to invent a new function, and I'm ready for it. Can we set this to like don't autoplay? Hold on. Let me just quick Google. Godot make animated sprite 2D not autoplay. All right. Uncheck the looping icon. Okay, that's not helpful, but it isn't a sprite. The sprite frames. So there's a parameter I need to set in here. This is not the sprite frame. This is still the animated sprite 2D. Damn it. Click that. There we go. All right. Where are the properties? Clear its autoplay property. Oh no, it's in the anime. It is in the animated sprite 2D. Okay. My bad. How do I do it in code? Set its autoplay to an empty string or use the stop method. I don't want to use the stop method. That's the default. All right, let's use a stop method. Sprite.stop. Do not play. It works. Great. To do hook and actions. All right, next we need to make a pressure plate. This is going to be a little trickier because we don't have all of the functions that we need to make that function. Pressure plate. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Can never forget that we need to add the script to the resource. Let's take the lever code. It's going to be 90% the same. The only difference is we're not using this. We actually need a different trigger to activate our pressure plate, and that's going to be a on collision, basically. Wait a minute. This has collision. We cannot walk through mechanisms normally. So we need to modify the collision property. And I've done that before. That's the door. The door does that. Mech collision layer 2. Oh, yes. 2 is not 1. So that makes it so that we can walk through the pressure plate, which is fine. I don't think we need to change the mask because the mask is still 1. Let me just double check that. Double check. Collision. Oh, no, actually. No, the mask is on 2. Are players on 2? Is there a reason it's on 2? Why are we listening on mask 2? I don't remember. No, I want to listen on mask 1. Let's listen on mask 1. Let's verify that didn't break anything. Why is it suddenly very slow? Hold on. Is that a reproducible? Okay, maybe my computer's just being chunky. How long have you been using Godot? I've been using Godot since January. I have made 2 Game Jam games, and I don't think this will be finished before I make my 3rd one. But we'll make progress. As far as I know, everything's still functional. Let's just keep going. Back to the pressure plate. We need to get rid of this. We don't believe in the use function. We need to define a new function. Maybe this is something where we define a new component. An on-collision component? Or do I care enough to make this a component? Because I could just... We have a collision object already. So it could just be a case of like create a new area 2D, set it up in the code, connect it to the function. I can't name things. Oh, we actually need a use function. Okay. Making it in code is sloppy, but making a component is heavy weight for something that I don't know. Making an area 2D in code is not a huge. Var area 2D equals area 2D dot new. I would very much prefer doing this in the editor. Struhi XD, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I hate having to look up what are the things that I want to set, because I do not remember. Area entered is the signal, probably. We want to look for when something collides with us. Then we basically... This is something that only the server cares about. And we don't want the client to control the pressure plates. So I need to be able to say, am I the server? And that's impossible to do from a resource because the resource doesn't have the multiplayer object. Like yeah, no idea. Yeah, no idea what this is. Identifier multiplayer not declared. Maybe we do make a new component. Because what we can do is we can tell the component, yo, are you the server? If not, get out of here. And doing it as a component, I've been doing that. So what's one more? The dungeon crawl will be PvP? Nope, it will be co-op. I don't expect. I mean, you can PvP. That's not the goal. Collider component. That implies that this is responsible for collisions, and that's not true. Can I area 2D? Multiplayer game is a solo indie dev. Yep, I agree. Not only that, but I'm definitely feeling the pain of like, I just want to put this out there and have people play it. I should have scoped way down so that I would be done in a month, and then I could move on and then come back to it in the future and make the next game more complicated and then iterate up that way. Like doing this is not. I if I wasn't 35 days into this, I might just throw it all away and start over. But there's so much work. The code base is big enough that I've lost track of a lot of it. Just wondering, since you said only the server needs to care about the pressure plate, since it's co-op, the clients can trust each other. Authoritative server for PvP is so much pain. It's best if I handle it on the server, because if the clients are sending stuff over, then I have to worry about setting up an RPC, and I have to worry about keeping that all synchronized. If I just do it on the server and leave the clients out, it's actually much easier to write the code and much easier to debug the code because I don't have to have a freaking synchronizer. I need to name this component. Collider component, intersection component, collision component. No, I don't want to call it collision because that's already a thing. Couch co-op with Steam's remote play together is how I end up doing it. Local co-op. I didn't even think about that. That's not true co-op. There's no network nonsense you have to worry about. You just have to worry about which controller is controlling which dude. Yeah. No, yeah, that's a lot cheaper, and it's a lot easier to debug because debugging the network stuff in Godot is very sparse. It's would not recommend. Would not recommend. It's fine as long as you can just do things in nodes and you don't write code. But as soon as you start writing code, would not recommend. Remote play together is automagic. I got to look into that. Oh, that's a big to-do list though of things to do. Yeah, that's a word. That's some word. Triggerable component? I feel like that's collidable. I'm just going to say collidable component. And hope that future me forgives past me for, please do not say this needs to have a shape. Oh. Can I not add this as a component? Is this going to get, okay, let me go to my mechanism. If I add a component, is it going to complain? Collidable component. Oh, no. Okay, that's a problem. We can't recycle this collision shape? Because we're in a mechanism. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. This may be a lot easier than I think. This may be a lot easier because this is a mechanism. It's just a node 2D. Can we just recast it to an area 2D? Can we say, yo, you're an area 2D? And then we'll get all the magic that we need. Godot recast object in code. No, I don't want to change. I don't want to do. I want to change the type, not recast. Changing a node's type is easy. Right-clicking on it and changing its type. Replace by. What is this? No, this is silly. This is not going to work. I need to give this a collision shape. I would really like to just recycle this collision shape. It does not make sense. Can I just do this? Will the mechanism still function? No, the mechanism complains. Okay. Hold on. There's got to be. Can I just undo? Okay. Godot to object. Could I just, so right, oh, it's a static body 2D. I thought this was a node 2D because I wrote here in this code that it's a node 2D. Why did I do that? But it's clearly a static body 2D. Otherwise, like, the collisions wouldn't work. Couldn't I just, isn't there a signal that this sends out? Like, on entered? Static body 2D, which contains a collision object 2D. So inherits from here. Get collision exceptions. Move and collide. Collision object. So this should be a signal that's like on collision or on. Detect contact. Mouse enter. I want collisions that aren't the mouse. Get collision mask value. Get shape owners. It could be in. No, this is the lowest level function. It seems very silly that I have to create an area. I have to have two collision shapes just to make this work. I don't even need this collision shape because this thing doesn't collide. It's a pressure plate. It shouldn't need two. It should only need one. Godot get collision of static body 2D. Give it a child node of type collision shape 2D. I have that. Set the collision shape to a circle and set the rigid bodies. No, I need the rest of that post. Catch the body entered on the rigid body and just send a signal back to the static body. I'm not opposed to making this a kinematic body or whatever it's called in Godot 4. Collision, where is it? Collider. Oh no. Oh, it's up here at the very top. Great. No, this is pretty. This feels like the right thing, and setting up an area 2D. Maybe that's just what we do. It's fine. We create a collidable component. We give it a collision shape. Oh, that's real dumb. But that is what area 2Ds are meant for, so whatever. Oh, no, I need to go back to the scene. Collidable component. Let's add a collision shape 2D. We got to define the shape. It's going to be a rectangle, of course. Do I need to define how big it is? I feel like I do. I don't think this needs any layer at all. But it does need to trigger on solid. We could also have it trigger on items too. And it won't trigger on itself because magic. If it does trigger on itself, then damn it. Gravity? What? Linear dump. Angular dump. Override. I think it's okay. We can just go with this is the default collision shape. And if I need it to be differently sized, I can create a script that will do that. We'll cut that shape when we need to. Let's just set that there for now. I just want to see if that works. Go back to here. We need to now set up all the infrastructure for this component that we've just defined. I need to create the object handler needs to be able to handle that probably won't work because I have not defined that class yet. Collidable component dot list set collider. That should be good. And then remove. Oh no, git. And we have to do this because we just kind of boxed ourselves in to this architecture. This needs a script. Yes. We'll move that script in the right place. Now, get in the scripts folder. Class name, collidable, component. I don't think it needs to do much, but let me just see. What is the init? Parent? I don't think we care about our parent. Object handler, register. We'll just register ourselves. That's it. All right. Get this out of here. Get that out of here. I probably should set up a signal. Like, or not a signal. I should set up a function and then, uh, hmm, whatever. Let's just do something the dumb way for now. I'm worried about like future me is going to need to add the collidable component to other objects, and I want that to be as easy as I want to be able to just drag the collidable component into the object, and then it works. I don't want to have to be like, and then I have to connect the signal, and then I have to attach it to this specific function. But yeah, let's just do it. We need a new function in our mechanism data. Why is this broken? Why is the mechanism? Oh, because yeah, that's fair. Could not resolve external class member init. That's probably just nothing to worry about. Func add collidable component. Avar. Give me the scene. Instantiate that. Mac.add child collidable component. Return collidable. Cool. Now we just go back to our pressure plate and we just say, hey, make this exist. And we're done. And then we need to attach the signal, connect. Come on. I casted it. You should be giving me autocomplete help. Here it is. Okay, area, shape, entered. Body entered. No, I want to know what this signal is. I don't want to know what a resource is. Freaking. Emitted when the received body enters this area. Body can be a physics body 2D or a tile map. Tile maps are detected if their tile set has collision shapes configured. I got to the 10 words into this and it made sense, and then it just very quickly stopped making sense. That's okay though. We only need the 10 words. Let's connect that. Connect. Signal body. Callable. We need to create a new function. Can we? Oh no. Can we connect this function? Oh no. This is okay. This is okay. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to our mech. We're going to say, create a new function. We're going to bail me out. And then that function will call the resource function. Yes, yes, this is fine. We've done this pattern before for the use. It's a great pattern. This is the exit logic. Ooh, okay. Func collider signal mech data dot collision collider self. All right, let me go back. This is fine, right? Yeah, because we are a dynamic language. We are not a static language. We can just invent functions and the editor will be like, I hope that function exists. Let's go. Func, nope, put it at the bottom. This is not the pressure plate. There we go.
Oh, wait a minute. We probably want to have a signal on enter and a signal on exit. Isn't there a unifying signal that handles both of those? There's like a signal on body. Body shape entered, body shape. This will tell me what the thing entering is, but I'm not receiving that information. But I do want to be able to ask, is anyone in this? So we should probably connect both body entered and body exited to the same function. And then in that function, there's going to be some way to verify how many collisions has overlapping bodies. That's the function. Okay. Okay, that's fine. We can work with that. cc.connect body mech dot collider signal. Hey, there we go. And we're passing in the function. We're not invoking the function. So there we go. Okay. A state signal. Let's just comment that all out, and then let's just put a pass here. We'll worry about that in the future. We are here in the collider signal, and what we're going to do is we're going to say attention var cs equals object handler dot get collidable component mech, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say if cs dot has overlapping bodies, sc dot set int property. I should declare this variable right now. Active. And I'm pretty sure that this will intelligently not set. This will intelligently, if I try and set 1 when it's already 1, it won't do it again. So I don't need to worry about that. Okay, there we go. That's just set up. We're completely set up now. All we need to do is not this, because this is not correct. We actually just want to do the Godot icon for now. This does not need to be an animated sprite because I don't particularly know how to animate a pressure plate in an interesting way. So we can just find our favorite mechanism and copy that. Yeah, right there. All right, there it is. This has a h frame of 1, actually. We can have an on and an off sprite, but I don't particularly know. That'll be handled through the state signal. This function does travel through the network. It's already set up to travel through the network, so we can set the sprite on the clients through that function. We can just do that right now. Actually, we can't because we don't have the art. I can't do it because it didn't draw it yet. Let's go ahead and add this to the map. This should just work. This should just magically work. What static languages have you used? C# plus Unity. I have not used C#. I have written C. I've learned C in college and Java. And that might be it. I've written a bunch of languages, but those are the two that I've written more than Hello World for. I like Python. That's why I'm writing GD script and not C#, because I like Python. If I had the choice of Python instead, I would definitely be doing that. But I could not. I can't complain about GD script. This is a great language. Would recommend, especially if you don't know any languages and you had to pick one to learn Godot. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Let's get the helper. I need to assign. Where is it? It's a handler. Helper. Mech spawn helper. Vector 2i 21. Pressure plate. Return. Res / source data mech pressure. Why is it not auto completing? Oh my god, please. And then I need to actually add it to the map. Let's do that right here, up here. Non-existent function collect. Oops. My favorite languages are Ruby and Lisp. Ruby's great. I like Ruby. I've written a fair amount of Ruby for work in the distant past, but have not had an opportunity since. And Lisp, I could not write Lisp. There's something in my brain that just does not. Why is that so big? It just does not read. Okay. I'm right clicking on it and it's using it, and that's bad. Oh, hold on. Is there a way for me to resize this? Oh, no. You can change its scale property. There we go. Okay. Let's make it 25%. It's really hard to go into Python after Ruby. Really miss the hot loading. Ability to reopen a class and change things. If it's what you want. I see we're throwing a lot of errors. Calling from signal body entered to callable static body 2D. Method expected 0 arguments, but called with 1. Is this because the function does not accept my collider signal? Okay. So let me go back to the mechanism. I think I know what the problem is. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Okay, so this is not reading the signal at all, and maybe it needs to. Signal parameters. The signal comes in. The signal has a parameter. This function says, "I don't believe in parameters," and Godot is saying, "Well, then I don't believe in you." Variant data. Can I just do this? Signal data. Does that work? Is that insane? Is there a way to specify like a variable number of parameters? Just put them all in here. It's fine. Just pass them all. Pass them down. I mean, let's try it. Oh no, this won't work because I didn't set the resource. Let me go down to the resource and update it. Excellent. Let's just cast this as a variant. We're gonna be that. We're gonna be that developer. Do I need to add that there are? No, I don't. Okay, this is good. This should just work now. Should just work. TM. Pressure plate on. Pressure plate on. Pressure plate on. Pressure plate on. All right, I think I know why that's happening because it's colliding with itself. Also, that is firing the pressure plate on way too many times. Whoops. Can we go to the... Oh, it's not by default attached to anything. It's attached in code. Collectible component. Nope. Collidable component. There it is. Do not collide with items. Pressure plate on. Pressure plate off. Yeah, that was the problem. But what item is it colliding with? Because this isn't an item. This doesn't have anything. Oh, no, it does. Just kidding. We set it in the code for some reason to collision layer 2. If we set it to collision layer 0, then we can't right-click on it. Actually, that's great, because we don't want to right-click on it. Oh, no, we do want to be able to right-click on it. Just kidding. Because we need to be able to look at it. We haven't implemented that yet. This technically works. This technically works. What we could do to verify that it works more correctly is move these into the state signal function. Oh, there's that. Active. We don't need these paths anymore. And then we just verify this works. And if it does, then we say we did it. Good job of us. Pat ourselves on the back. Why is it doing this even more now? Oh, because one is on the server and one is on the client. Yes, that's fine. That's too many times. That's too many. Because this client isn't connected. This client should not be printing. Why is it doing that 3 times? Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so this is going to get called a bunch of times. It should not be possible to call. Let me just go into this function. Oh, okay. We're not checking to make sure that we're setting it. So, my bad. Let's do that. Let's just add that in. And then I need to stop real quick for just a second. I need a pause. Actually, I just need a pause. I'll be right back. I'm back. What was I doing? Oh, right. I was making this check. Make sure the property isn't being set twice. And we have the state component already. If sc.get int property active. Okay, this should prevent it from activating multiple times. We'll see the thing pressure plate off. Don't worry about it. We'll see the message twice because it's happening on the server and the client. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's the correct number of times. All right, pressure plate done. Let me just done. We got to add art. We need to add functionality, but done. Okay, and we're just going to add hands and then call it a day. Hands are not going to be anything fancy. I think I might need to create folders for all these components because I'm going to be creating another component for hands. Inventory shape component. So each slot, just to explain what my goal is, each slot here in your base inventory actually represents a part of your body, and we need each slot to track that. And I think the best way to do that is with a component, even though this is it. You just get 12 slots. So we could just hard code those, but I've already made like 30 components. Why not 31 components? Let's do it. We're going to make a new component. Call it the inventory shape component. This is a 2D. Actually, this is a node. Why can't I type? Okay, fine. It's just a node. Nodes are very cheap. So I prefer to make nodes whenever possible. We're going to give this that. And then I had a plan, but I've already lost it. I am not going to just drag and drop this into the editor. This is basically going to be a script. What? Another resource is loaded from path. How did that happen? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Roll on. Let's get this named. Class name, inventory, shape component. On startup, we will have 2 of the player's inventory slots. For now, we can just pick the first 2. Say you're a hand and you're a hand. And then we will need to pass that into the inventory shape component, function set shape. And then, was it grid bag Java that made you lose your dreadlocks? I don't understand. But I did have hair when I learned Java, and then after I learned Java, I did not have hair. So I think that answers your question. Enum shape. Hand. We'll have more shapes. We'll have head, torso. Start with hand. What am I doing? Who am I again? We just need to I do have a image that I want to add to the inventory slot, and that needs to be there if the slot is empty. But if the slot is not empty, then make that go away. It's just like an outline of a hand. It's not in here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's just a little outline just to tell you that that's your hand. Okay, I'm running out of focus. That is bad when writing code, but I can't just stop here because I've only done one thing. I need to get at least 2 things on this list done. Magical Marshall. Okay, I can set like hand polarity or hand alignment, hand tag. We'll just call them tags. That can be in the inventory shape. Doesn't need to though. Var tags string equals. Nope. Actually, I don't. We're casting it as a string, so we don't need to set an empty string. That should just handle automatically. Okay, I shouldn't start at the component. What I should do is I should actually go to the inventory slot. The inventory slot is being created in the inventory component. If the parent is a player, set the player breadcrumb, create UI elements. We should also call else if parent is not mechanism. Oh, yeah. Why parent is... that's fine. Okay, so we want to create a new function here. Set inventory shape, player shape. Okay. We don't have that function. Let's make that function right now. Function. Your job is to take the first 2 slots. Wow, this is a big honking thing. This is an internal function, so let's go ahead and make it internal. Set inventory player shape. So we have, at the very top, we have a list of 12 inventory slots. Let's get the first 2 item slots. We can just hard code this. This part is fine to hard code. Left hand equals item slot 0 and var right hand okay, and then we will take the left hand and we will attach a item shape. We'll set the item shape to your hand. Var item shape equals load. Give me this. Dot instantiate. Item shape dot set shape item inventory shape component dot hand. That's a thing. I didn't just, that's a real thing. Let's go over here. We need to create this function now. Set shape. And we need to pass in a enum. Nope. Shape enum int. All enums are int all the time forever. And then all we need to do is remember what shape we are. This is a param, not a enum. Shape equals shape param. We probably need to set up like the sprite attached to I don't know. We'll come back to that. Function set player inventory shape not found in base self. No, it's there. It's right here. I'm looking at it. Set player inventory shape. Oh. I'm smart. Cannot find member hand in base inventory shape component. It's right there. Oh, it's .shape.hand. I'm sorry. I wrote my own frame buffer set in Java around 1.1.4, very early days. Ooh, that's a fun project. Oh, that's a time consumer though. Did it work when you wrote it the first time? Did you have to do a lot of debugging? We've set the shape. All we need to do now is add it to the left hand. And the way that I've written this makes it impossible to loop, but whatever. This is dumb. It's to do. Make this not dumb. All right, now we've given ourselves license to be dumb. Item left hand dot add child item shape. All right, and then we just take this. Okay, we've defined this, and we basically need this inventory shape component to inject a sprite into the inventory slot. And we can do that in the ready function, but we need to set up the item slot to be prepared to receive that. So at the moment, we can have like a shape var shape sprite. Oh no, we don't do it here. We want to do it in the UI inventory slot. Yes. Yes. Var shape sprite. Sprite 2D. Okay. It worked for a bit, but it flickered until I cleaned up. It worked, but it flickered for a bit till I cleaned up the order. What are you building? I am making hands. I am adding hands to the items. So this is left hand, this is right hand. All we need to do is take this sprite, I don't have it up on the editor, and attach it to here, and attach it to here. And then I also need to, no, at that point I'm basically done. There's more to do, but the bones are there, and that's really all I need to take credit. So drag and drop hell. I'm not, I can't. I'm glad that Godot has the drag and drop functionality that it does. I wish it had more, because it could be better. Scaffolding, that's the word. Yes. We're just building scaffolding and then we're going to move on. I think at some point, add head, torso, legs, and feet. that I think we can go a little further. The thing with hands is, I'm thinking that the item's shape defines what items can go into a thing. And hands, anything can go into a hand, so we don't need to worry about that. But when we get to head and feet and stuff, we should not allow the player to put whatever they want there. That's when we need to start writing logic for like, okay, hold on. Are you allowed to be here? No, you can't go here. And that's probably going to be more of a nightmare than it appears. Like, adding item stacking, that's simple. Adding the look command, that's simple. Adding locking doors and keys, we're set up to do that. We could do that if we had time. Wall lights and paths and boulders, that's just an art project. We have the light component, and the rest of this is just, it looks nice. This is going to be, I'm just going to put a little asterisk here. This is going to be pain. Okay, yeah, I don't actually want Obsidian to hide that asterisk. Assign groups or make your own codes. That's what it's going to be. Some of these are also going to be big headaches, but I don't know. Anyway, let's wrap up. We have the inventory shape component. We're going to just say shape param int match shape param case shape dot hand return. Oh, I need to return a sprite 2D. Sprite duty not new. We don't return here. We are going to say return sprite dot texture equals load. There it is. Return sprite. Oh, I don't need this case. Every item can be a resource, like a scriptable object. Yes. It's not a hard problem to solve. It's just, we've got to make sure that we've buttoned up the code. We can, at this point, in the inventory shape, this is the inventory shape? It is. We can get our parent dot UI node dot shape sprite. Let's put an underscore in there for my sanity. Oh, I did put okay. Equals get sprite shape. Maybe that's all we need to do. Why is it still running? That's all we need to do here. Obviously, we need to go here and actually set it up. There might be like set X. When this is set, add it. Add as a child. Maybe instead of just setting this directly, we can say set function set shape. Shape param? Shape? Sure. That's kind of circuitous. Whatever, I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so we go here, we've set that, and then we go back. And then what we're going to do here is we don't actually have the shape component, so never mind. Okay. The UI does not need to know what shape it is. It just needs to know that I have a sprite and I need to show that when I'm empty. Okay, first of all, set shape sprite. If shape sprite assert false. Don't do this. Shapes should not change mid-game. Shape sprite equals, okay, let me just change this to param. Add child shape sprite. That should make it appear. If I press play, I don't get a game anymore. Ah, that's not good. Let me try again. Why are there so many errors? Oh, it's because I turned them on. Yeah, no, that's... These are all just warnings. All right, we can just ignore them. All right, what's the error? Non-existent function set blah, in base nil. Uh-oh. This doesn't exist yet? The UI node doesn't exist? Okay, hold on. Call deferred. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. Can we do that? Oh, that worked. Okay, but we don't have... Hold on. We do not have the hands. Let me go in. Oh, this is not the... The UI sprite is not set. Shape sprite is not set either. Okay. Let's go to the player. Yes, we have a shape component. The shape is 0. We have a shape component. The shape is 0. Why is the shape 0? Do enums start at 0? I'm going to assume that they do. Let's go ahead and go back here. Print. We are getting here, right? I don't need this item slot. That's debug code. Collecting. I don't need that either. It's not being called. Okay, that's the problem. Yes. Yes, because by the time we get here, Just nothing. Okay, so I need to think about this. So the parent is an inventory slot. The UI node should already exist when we happen. When does the UI slot get assigned? When build UI is called. Okay, so that's not immediate. When is build UI called? Okay, when is create UI element called? I get the feeling that it's called pretty early on. It's called here. The UI element should exist by the time this is called. Could we do this the other way around? Could we have the UI node say, by the way, inventory slot, you don't have a shape, do you? And if the inventory slot says, actually, I do, then we go, oh. Did I ever register this with the object handler? I did not. We have to do this. Inventory shape component list dictionary. Okay. And then we got to go to year and get registered. We could do this the other way around, where we set the hand shape and then the UI node is responsible for reaching out. Let's go ahead and just do print parent.ui node. Actually, yeah, let's do that, but let's also just set a breakpoint. We're at the breakpoint. What is the status of the UI node? Okay, here's left hand. Tell me about your UI node. You have no UI node. When does this happen? That's okay. Let's try Uno reversing. We've registered the inventory shape component, so it's not difficult to just say, do you have an inventory shape? So we'll go to the UI node. UI inventory, that's what it's called. Uh, we don't, this doesn't have a parent to the, oh, it does. No, it doesn't. It does not. Oh, it does. The inventory slot. How are we get, okay. How does that get populated? When do we set inventory slot? We just do. It just happens. It's magic. Don't worry about it. How does the UI know where the item slot it belongs to is? Where are we setting that? What magic have I done? Drop chest, store inventory, equipped are all the same construct. It's true. I've done magic and I don't remember doing magic. Build UI. Do we create a new UI node? Ah, and we're immediately setting the inventory slot. Okay, so when does this gets added at the end? Oh, but it's not getting added to this. It's getting added to the UI. So, As soon as we call build UI, this inventory slot has a UI node. This shouldn't be null. So we're calling build UI here. We're calling build UI here still. And then we call it when we call create UI element. And then we call create UI element before we call. Oh, wait a minute. We're only calling this on the client, but this we're calling on the server. Oh, okay. So the problem wasn't this is wrong. The problem is we should only set this on the client. What was the logic that I used? If int.parent name. Okay, and I don't particularly want to, let's just input handler dot player dot name. Sure, whatever. Does that solve our problem? No, it does not. Invalid access to, there's no such thing as a name. Oh, right. The server doesn't have a player. If input handler dot player and there we go. We don't have our hands. It's possible that we do have them. They're just being not drawn because of Z whatever. This could be the server. Let's check. No, actually, that can't be the server. The server doesn't have this, so it didn't work. Okay, we are calling this function. I don't need to worry about that. We need to go to the UI node and see, are we calling the shape function? No. Why not? No, okay. Well, let's just do a quick print input handler dot player dot name, print multiplayer dot get unique ID. If input handler dot name. Nope. Player. Should be identical, and instead we get nothing. Isn't this a thing? Yeah, player. Why isn't that working? Is it not set yet? Oh my god. Well, you know what we could do? We can cut all this out. If parent.ui node. Oh, yeah, okay, that was it. Great. Only set the hand if you're the client and you have this UI. That's what I expected to happen. So we need to offset that sprite. Also, I would like to make it like 50% opacity, which we can do. We're going to do that. We have that power. I think I set it to black. I meant to set it to white. There we go. We got hands. Yes, we do. All right, now we just need to do one more thing. Make this visible when it's empty and make it invisible when it's full. So we're doing that here. If we set the UI sprite to null, we should also, if shape sprite visible equals true. And then there we go. Done. I could honestly put it as a setter. It might be smarter to put it as a setter instead of overloading this function even harder. Set x UI sprite equals x if x let's do a ternary. Let's do it. If buggy hide bug, yes. Assignment is not allowed inside of an expression. Is this not how? Godot ternary. Oh, GD script. Oh, okay, yeah. This does not work. That's fine. This should be all we need. We're good. We're done. Okay, and then we can just we can move things out of our hand. We can move things into our hand. I want to have the sprite be swapped for the left hand because, or the right hand. Huh. How would I do that? Let me look at the. Yep, this works. I could just have L hand and R hand. No, I don't like that. What are we calling this get sprite? Are we calling it here? Set shape. I could just make a function in here, flip hand, and then just call flip hand and move on with my life. Let's call it flip shape sprite. Sprite dot flip h equals true. And that's it. Do I need a function for this? Not really. Let's just not. Let's just go do this the dumb way, because we've put a to-do to make this not dumb, and we can just respect UI node dot shape sprite dot flip h equals true. We can't do that. Oh, right. We can't do that because we don't know if this has a UI node. If UI node. No, wait. We should only be calling this. No, that's not true. There we go. Hey. Get. All right. Yeah. There was one more thing I wanted to do before I could declare victory. Do I have time? I need item slots to be aware of their shape. And how do I want to do that? I guess I could make a function in the inventory slot that's like get shape. Is there any reason for this to be a node versus this to just be a object? Making it a node is not expensive, but this component could just be a helper. This doesn't need to be a component. It could just be a helper. I've got helpers. That's a thing. Subcomponent? It could be a subcomponent. I think I'll just make that a to-do for me to do offline. To do make this a subcomponent. But what we will do is we will add this to the inventory slot var shape. And then for now, we'll just have this go parent dot shape self. And that's not an overloaded thing, right? Okay, that's fine. And then all we have to do is when we're checking equip, just rewrite this function entirely. All right. We've got a weapon, a shield, and armor. Yeah, that's not going to fly. What we could do is we could instead have, I'll think about this. This one could get complicated fast. But what we do want to say is if item slot, if slot.item slot. And slot.item slot dot shape and slot.item slot. Why am I checking if slot.item slot? There's a reason I'm doing that. Dot frickin' what am I looking for? Shape? This is called shape. Inventory slot shape component dot shape dot hand. Okay, so the sword should only benefit us if it's in our hand. What are you talking about? Invalid access to key or property shape. Oh, I'm doing it on the item slot. Okay, yeah, that's right. The item slot is the actual item. No, I want the slot, not the item. There we go. Okay. So now there's a sword here. Let's get it. We got the sword. We should be able to hit for a lot more damage. Yes, we're hitting for 4 damage. I can see that right there. And then let's take it out of our hand. Are we still hitting for 4 damage? No, we're hitting for 1 damage. It works. We did it. Done. Let me just go ahead and... Done. I know I wrote magical and martial here, and that's not... Don't worry about it. We'll get to that when we get to that. We put this in our hand, and we're hitting again. Great. How do I want, like, if I have 2 swords, how do I want that to work? That's an open question. I don't actually know. I need to think about that. Let me just heal. I don't know why I'm healing, because I'm about to close the game. Gamer brain just kicked in for a second. This is done. We still need to rewrite this function entirely. I don't know if I have that as a stage 2 thing. I might not. I think there's going to be a situation where I'm adding more items. That's probably a stage 3 thing. Yeah, that's probably a stage 3 thing. So we're not worried about this. This will not get rewritten in stage 2. We're good. We did it. Mission accomplished. Next time, we're going to add doors and keys, and we're going to add the look command. And if this goes quick, we'll also add lights and paths. And no, this will probably just do offline because that's really simple to do. Instead, we'll add the context menu. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take victory and celebrate it. I just have a celebratory glass of water. Make sure to hydrate. And thank you, folks, for watching. Hope you had a good time. Hope your game dev is going well. Hope you're playing lots of fun games. See you all this weekend.